Don't forget to subscribe the channel, and for more updates, press the bell icon.
Hi, Namaskar. Today, on What's the Point, we are discussing about that the government of India has instructed the platform Twitter to follow the Indian constitution, the Indian law, if they have to work in India. Joining me on the debate is Mr. Ratan Sharda, the renowned political analyst and author. Ratan ji, बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका. Ratan ji,
नमस्कार जी.
how do you look at this whole issue? Because time to time we have seen people have raised this to the government, appeal to the government that Twitter is biased. There are a lot of cases we have seen. What is your take about the biasness of Twitter as a platform first?
So before I begin, I must pay my homage to Rinku Sharma, who has been brutally murdered. And it's a point of reference also. It's not just social media, it's also mainstream media. When a small incident of fight in the train is converted to lynching, but a person who is collecting contributions for Ram Mandir and he is murdered by a mob for 24 hours in a place like Delhi, there is no news on any media. There can be nothing more shameful than this. How it happened, why it happened is a different issue. But a young man is chased into the house with 14, 15 people and stabbed to death is something that should have been used just by itself. Forget about anything else. But this blindsiding of the media, whether it's social or it's the mainstream media, is something to be really worried about. And also how Hindus in this nation are so unsafe, and why Hindus cannot raise their voice and do what they want to do is something that so-called people who said that there is a community which is afraid, and how they behave in mob is something that is to be seriously analyzed. So Rinku Sharma is another martyr in the huge line of people who have died during last few years. The numbers are there. I don't want to be sounding like holding a victimhood card. So I will not, like politicians, list out all those names. But we must remember all those people, for no fault of theirs, for just being good Hindus, they were killed. And media kept quiet. And no news at all is something that really hurts me a lot. And it will now become a news and all that is fine. But a person, young man's life has been snuffed out, and everybody is quiet. So it's very, very hurting. And I hope the society sees the truth what it is. Coming to a question on Twitter, see, somehow I feel that we have made the whole debate very frivolous. Yesterday I was on a TV debate on the same issue, and I found that people getting tutu meme, what about how Rahul Gandhi was insulted, how Priyanka was named, whatever. Then BJP spokesperson also unwittingly falling into the trap and countering it with what insults Modi ji faced. That is not the issue at all. The issue is whether Twitter is a public platform or whether it's a publisher. And issue is whether the big tech will control the narrative of different countries on their own rules. This is the biggest question. I had written an article about a month back when Trump was deplatformed. That issue is not deplatforming of Trump. It is not even a question of left and right. It is question whether big tech will try to control the lives and thinking of people at a larger level, whether they will control the entire behavior of the society. There have been films on this, but this is real life. So what happens? Twitter is just one of the social platforms. I gave an example of YouTube where the string was his video was deleted to become a big news now. I was asked by Facebook to remove a message which was basically a goodwill message in the new year, how we overcame the COVID issue. And in that one word was that Wuhan virus, which is now at that time known as Wuhan virus, now being called COVID. After a few days, I received a complaint saying that this has been blocked because somebody has said it doesn't fall into Facebook rules. So now in India, should we follow the rules of great republics of Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, and all those people? then what happens? Suppose I write an article in a new web portal that I have created. It is good, going very well, but Google decides that your narrative and my article is too dangerous for their own view of what society should behave, and they simply review from the Play Store. That has also happened. Parler has died an unglorified death because Amazon decided to platform it. Google decided to deplatform it. So you can create an app, but app by itself has no power if the people who are controlling that power of removing it from the Play Stores, whether Apple also removed it. So whether Apple or Google, if they can act in a concerted way, where is a common person? It's an Animal Farm, not of 1984, but Animal Farm 2020. This is the worrying point. Since all this entire frivolous debate that today coup has come, tomorrow somebody else will come, that is fine. But what questions I had raised, that unless we have our own entire ecosystem, which BJP government should have looked at in a much more serious manner, because 2 years back Twitter was called by the Parliament Committee. They just gave it a kick. They never came, and the government and the Parliament Committee simply quite quiet. So it's a question of your sovereignty vis-a-vis the sovereignty. As important, what does Twitter say? Twitter says that it falls in our so and so language, and this is how we will work. So now we have to follow big tech policies and not go by our own sovereignty. So whether it's Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, and why they should not have offices in India, why they should not representative, all these companies should not have representative enough who should be talking to the government when required. All these are issues much more serious than what we are discussing today in terms of kind of debates we see today. So this threat to the national sovereignty and data sovereignty is something that we must care for. When people raise the issue of data sovereignty, including many in BJP, we had ministries doing official work on Twitter, official work on WhatsApp. So if governments allow this, if China can live without those global applications and those who want can go through some other means, why India should be afraid of it? So it's not question of left or right. It's not question of Modi or Rahul Gandhi whatsoever. It is question of in national sovereignty, our right to see what we want to say. See, either Twitter doesn't play any referee, so everybody goes on speaking whatever he wants. So then you have a platform. But when you decide what to publish, what not to publish, what handles to ban and what handles not to ban, then you're a publisher. So you must be controlled by the same laws that are imposed on media, that are imposed on TV. You should follow the same law, because now you are deciding what is worth publishing, what is not worth publishing. So you are no more just a platform, you are a judge and a jury. So that is why this particular strong stand of government is highly appreciated, though it's belated, it is appreciated. And I do hope that we don't get stuck in the Twitter versus whatever debate, but we talk of bigger issues, which are the real threat. This is the threat that you can look into the face in 2024. So whether we are ready for that, that is the question.
Ratanji, you very well quoted about one of the example about the American president. I want to add on to that if you remember the ex-Malaysian prime minister, he
Yes.
justified the killing of French in the recent case, and no action has been taken by the Twitter. Till now, that tweet lies there. And on other side, what happened in the Capitol Hill attack issue, the president's tweet, which was not even not intended in the way to support the violence, his account was taken down. And many such cases are in India also. We have seen editors of who are the nationalist editors, their Twitter account faces the shadow ban. One of the famous account, Anand Ranganathan, he just quoted the verse of Quran, and his account was taken down. So time to time,
Also R. Jagannathan.
Yes.
Also,
And-
R. Jagannathan's tweet, he was also suspended.
Yes. So what do
So
you?
I am not getting into individual cases. See, if you talk of hypocrisy, within USA, there was Black Lives Matter violence, which was on for months together. It was justified. But the violence that went uncontrolled in Capitol Hill was denounced, and so many people are simply removed from the social life. The whole idea of cancel culture, that is a huge risk. That cancel culture comes from the so-called liberals. It doesn't come from the so-called conservatives, so-called extremists on the right. It comes from the so-called liberal left. What is the meaning of cancel? That you're not part of the social life. It is like, in earlier days when there were clubs and people are not allowed inside the club. So that is the kind of cancel culture you're talking about. If you don't have tolerance to hear the other viewpoint, forget the trolls and all. That is not, that is immaterial. Trolls will be there everywhere. There are people who are on the lane also, in the streets also behave that way in a goonish manner. They will be there in the other places also. They remain there. They are not banned at all. The abusive trolls very happily sit there. You gave me some example. So-called fact checking sites who only fact check very selectively. There are news portals which have given fake news and walked out with it by simply deleting the news. We know the recent case when an editor had to pay a very heavy price out of years of playing with people's ideas, people's capability of how to look at the news. And so now when people are awake, so you can simply, anybody abuse, simply ban him from this portal. Why do you ban the people who are making sensible point? I gave example of yesterday, example of True Indology, who is now in the name of Bharatwaja. He never abuses anybody. He gives very eminently, very properly referenced material, but he was banned multiple times because it doesn't suit somebody's narrative. I talked of String yesterday. What was String video basically? It gave complete chronology. So-called great chronology experts who sit on the left could not even bear that chronology. If they were so afraid that this is not correct, the bullying and all that, they should have gone to the courts. They should have gone to police rather than going to the YouTube and crying like crybabies. That is the problem. So Rudalis will spread fake news. They will speak of any kind of false news or even hate mongering, and they will cry when people who want to speak of genocide when there was nothing can go scot free. So I am not even going to individual cases. I'm talking of a very broad issue where I don't want to get into petty issues. As I said, trolls can be banned immediately, but hard facts cannot be banned. Hard facts cannot be removed. They will come out anyway. There are so many people try to remove Netaji from public life. He could not be removed. Folk hero lived, and finally history is coming out as true history. So you cannot stop truth. You cannot brush it under the carpet. It will peep out. So by banning certain facts, you cannot ban the truth. That is the basic understanding. New platforms will come, old will go. That is all fine. But if we really believe in liberalism, then we must allow all the voices, and we should have a really neutral platform where people can speak out. Any abuse can be immediately removed. And why bots are there? Doesn't Twitter know there are bots? Doesn't Twitter know that those people are abusing India as Indians, but their IP address of Pakistan and other places, Bangladesh? Why they cannot be banned? So if this is the kind of monitoring they are doing, then they deserve to be asked questions and they must answer them.
So adding to that, we have seen, 2 years back, how the UK firm Analytica, they misuse the data from the Facebook, and Facebook, has paid a huge fine to the UK government for doing so. So in India, which lobby is there? What set of people are there on the basis of their support that Twitter is now behaving like larger than government? And now, why I'm asking this, today only China has put ban on BBC. We have seen that for their false reporting on Uyghur Muslim, the China has put ban on BBC. But now India is one of the biggest market of Twitter in Asia bloc. 19 million users are there. Still, Twitter doesn't want to follow the guidelines of the government. What kind of support is there at the back? Who is supporting Twitter to behave like this?
See, there is an entire left ecosystem which is there for decades across the world. And if you see the Greta Thunberg tweet was not the issue. Issue was a toolkit which was run, cooperated or co-authored by people sitting in Mumbai, people sitting in USA and Europe. That was the issue, that they have such a wonderful network. Yesterday, String talked about a new foundation which includes all the left so-called liberal portals. So this was formed 3 months before what happened on 26 January. And they were already planning these kind of things. So when they can come together, they can form a nexus where same tweet goes within minutes across the globe. You can understand their power. You can understand the network, which is very closely in it, which they use very efficiently, and we must give due credit to them. And the power they have, that they can go to YouTube and cry like crybabies and make them change. Facebook itself and all these social platforms are answerable in Europe. They are being put to task. They have been fined. There are rules there. that you cannot behave in a certain manner, and the rules are there. Many countries have done it, more will do it. So this laissez-faire only for the people who are trying to control narrative of the people or minds of the people has to be controlled. Finally, we are not a puppet on the string of these the people in the cloud. We are people, human beings on the hard terrain where we have our own lives, physical lives, and we are not virtual lives. We are real lives. Will not be controlled by people sitting in the cloud, or I don't mean the cloud in the literal cloud, but servers across the world, and they will decide what you want to do. Definitely, every country is waking up, and they will take action. And we know that this narrative has been controlled by left illiberal forces, and very unfortunately, these forces are now tied up with extreme right Islamist forces for the short-term gain. In the long-term gain, in no Islamic country, any communist is allowed to live or even behave, come out in public. If that is the condition of Islamic countries where these so-called left and liberal people are trying to now control, cooperate with Islamists, they should understand that is their future. And it is not even in Hitler's times. The Islamists of that time and the church of that time cooperated with Hitler at that time. Only later they realized what folly they had fallen into. Communist Party supported British earlier time when Stalin and Hitler had tie up. When they broke up, then they started behaving otherwise. So they don't understand that there is no you cannot, the left and the Islamists cannot gel in the very way they think. Atheists vis-a-vis total unquestioned belief in a certain way of life. But they have done this just to see to it that then they can create anarchy. Because anarchy is where they only find some succor, because in a democratic society they cannot succeed. World over they have lost. There are just 3 countries left who are communist, and they will not last if they try to work with these people. So they want anarchy. For that extent, they will work with anybody, and that is what you see, whether it's a social platform or really.
So what do you see as, I'm asking the last question, what do you see as the substantial solution for this problem? Because as you mentioned very rightly, the earlier also Twitter, government summoned Twitter, but no response came. Now, after this whole 26 January, what happened, we see the kind of hashtags were there, and government demanded the ban, and then Twitter just banned them for 1 day, and then again taken the ban off. So what do you think the substantial solution for all this is? The indigenous app is the only solution, or because it is such a big platform, and moving from one platform to the indigenous platform would take time. So what would be the substantial solution for this?
How many people of India are on Twitter?
There are 19 million, yes.
3 million, 3%, 2%. Life goes on. Life goes on without the social media platforms. Just shut down your Twitter for a day, see nothing happens, you're fine. It's just an urge to be heard and to share ideas that we go to these platforms. And these platforms may live because this is technology. But point is, if you are behaving like a publisher, then you must bow to the law of the land where you are working. You cannot exploit people's money and further an agenda. That will not simply be allowed. So in every country, they will have to face the local law. They will have to go by the local laws. They cannot decide, as I said earlier, that how people should behave. How people not decide what I'm going to think and write. Zuckerberg will not decide what I'm going to think and write. And Google, even if owned by, controlled by an Indian, I will not allow Google to decide what app I will download or upload. So operating systems, our apps, everything has to be made by our own people, and we can make it. I get damn incensed. I have raised the point again and again that our IT companies who made billions out of labor arbitrage, which can be called very insultingly as cyber police, we have on their strength, on their sweat, we have made money, and these companies are billions. They are sitting on cash, but they have not said that okay, we will give so many million rupees. We'll create a new operating system. We'll create a new software, and we will burn this money. It's fine with us. If Google can burn money, if Amazon can burn money, these large IT companies, such huge funds, why can't they burn money? What will they do with all the cash they are sitting on? They will go for some more labor arbitrage. They will again pick up some project. You'll be surprised that we have a large company which is giving solution to ports, but they have not created an app. They are simply giving every time they're selling it as a project. And there is a small IT company, much smaller than this company, who's got an app on the same area of expertise. So having cash, having right kind of intellect, Indians are ruling the IT market across the world. Whether it's Google, whether it's any other place where our people are working wonderfully, they are doing wonders even in India. But they need that kind of encouragement. And now, after all, the school app has been supported by Mohandas Pai and many others, as far as I know. Why others cannot come up with those ideas? Why others cannot simply say, okay, young man, we will support you. Forget about the profits. You have made enough profits, sir. And why government cannot create an environment when such people come up with those apps? They just can't be given 1 lakh rupees of award or 5 lakh award and say, okay, go ahead. Where will they go? Ultimately, making app is not difficult. I am in IT. I am part of IT. I also created a mini ERP. It ran well for some time before I shifted gears. But point is, any app can be made. It is marketing. It is your strength to live longer than other market, create an impact with enough funds, and create that kind of market when you succeed. That is where we fail, not creating app because we have got enough brains who can create. If you tell within no time, government is floating an app every month within 15 days. Every government department is own app. So what is so difficult? It is mindset. It is mindset that we as Indians can create our own operating systems, our own apps, our own ecosystem, where others will say, boss, also please allow me also to have some playing field. We should not be, they should come begging to us, realizing it's such a huge market, because these baniyas, these traders only understand language of money. And we have got the money. This money we are not giving as a, should not be giving as a grant or as a donation. We expect results from that, and they should be following our rules to get those results.
So at the end, we can say that we are not China. We don't believe in arbitrary bans. We don't believe in governing internet. But at the same time, our sovereignty is our priority. Our law of land, our constitution is our priority. And any company, any corporate who wants to work in India must follow the law. And we as Indians should support the indigenous apps like Coop. And that would be the only answer to such companies who think they are the monopoly. Thank you so much, Ratanjit, for joining me on this debate. See you soon in another episode. Thank you.
Thanks, Rahul.
Thank you.
Hope to get connected soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.